The finger lime is I guess the thing that captivates us the most about the finger lime is how completely and utterly unique it is. Whilst also being relatively familiar in the realms of being a citrus, but it's unlike any other citrus on planet Earth. The fact that the vesicles of fruit are held captive inside the actual lime itself for so long, and the ability to be able to actually manhandle them is incredible. The whole idea of finger lime being lime caviar itself, and the ability to make, say, gin, for example, from that is really quite captivating. It's a very, very unique. It's a very unique citrus. Like, anyone that actually sees it for the first time their mind's kind of blown. When we first started Applewood, obviously we're looking at native ingredients, and particularly the citrus side of things. Australia has an incredible wealth of native citrus. We really focused on the desert side of things, sort of desert limes or Citrus glauca. Citrus, I believe it's Citrus australis, is finger lime, and that was already being utilised by a number of other gin companies, as well as, I guess, had a really kind of big growing reputation very quickly. So whilst we've always been working with finger limes, they've never really played to the main player on the stage. It's always fallen, second player to either juniper or a few other native ingredients that were a little bit more captivated with putting on a pedestal at the time. So I think it was about time, after doing this for a number of years, to be able to put finger lime on its own pedestal, to be able to showcase how sort of brilliantly aromatic and lifted it is, and being able to really concentrate that into gin. That, and the fact that I guess we've also been learning ourselves this entire way. It's not like we stumbled into just making high quality gin from the get-go. We've made plenty of not high quality gin for a while, but the ability to be able to put finger lime on a pedestal, we really wanted to make sure that when we were ready to do it, we were going to absolutely nail it.
So we use both finger limes and desert limes, and both of these are used in Applewood, and we have already come out with a desert lime gin. I wanted it to be able to stand by itself and to not mirror the desert lime gin itself, especially because when it comes to distillation, the desert limes carry more of the actual idea of a lime flavor that everyone has, whereas finger limes themselves, especially depending on what kind of finger lime you use, will carry through a different flavor, which is actually very interesting. So the finger limes that we use are resiny, and they speak more to the skin than they do the actual jubes and lime flavor. So in order to kind of give everyone the lime flavor that they believe is with finger limes, while also staying true to what a finger lime actually tastes like. That was what we looked at with this, and we wanted to kind of make it a little bit of fun by making it a little bit spicy, because, well, that's kind of yum. When looking at recipe crafting for this, we added a bunch of different botanicals that would sit together well with the lime itself. We also looked at how you can approach lime as a flavor and what goes well with it, being the flavors that we settled on were salt and spice. So if you look at kind of any sort of Mexican cuisine, quite a lot of Southeast Asian cuisine, you've got that spice, you've got a bit of salt, and then you've got a lot of lime, and that's the avenue that we headed down. I feel like this was almost a quick recipe turnaround because it was just so simple. Finger limes are a botanical that we know so very well, and all of us in our cooking use citrus. I'm a massive fan of kaffir lime. I use in most of the things that I cook, but most of the things I cook are Southeast Asian as well, so that marries in really well with kind of the avenue that we took with this gin. We decided to give another type of lime as well a go, so we put in some kaffir lime leaves, which distill amazingly. The flavor that you get from them is so intense, and it's so true to how they smell. You can definitely taste it in it, and I think it goes really well with the resinous of our finger limes. Oh, it's insane. The end product of finger lime gin, I am immensely excited about. I think it is delicious, and I think this is a gin that absolutely everyone will enjoy, regardless of whether they think it's a little bit spicy, because it is a really complex gin. There's a lot going on. The palate is really, really long, and it just, I don't know anyone who I could give this to and they'd say ooh, not for me. No one. Unless you're only into lavender, you're gonna like this gin, and I think it's probably my favorite. Between this one and Wattle Seed, those are my two favorites.
I kind of echo Meg's sentiments as one of the best gins that we've put together out of this kind of project of just celebrating native ingredients. You know, aromatic, but so celebratory of Finger Lime itself. And when you get that in a cocktail framework, you really don't want to mess with the gin too much at all. You want to let that sing through and try to make it as refreshing and delicious as possible. I wanted it to be a long drink. I just knew this was a drink that I wanted to make it tall, refreshing, effervescent. So we went for a Rickey, which is basically, loose description is kind of like a gin mojito, I guess. So it made a lot of sense for us. So basically get a good dollop of gin in there. Traditionally, a Rickey is with lime juice, so instead we're just putting finger lime caviar or the pearls of the finger lime straight into the drink. Bit of mint, bit of sugar, topped with soda. It's one of those drinks that you'd kind of want on a warmer day, out in the sun, on a balcony. You know, it's just an absolute slurper. So good.